And what I felt in my heart was really heavy. So for me, going into I remember the first time, actually the second time I did breath work, because the first time I did breath work, I was still in my mind. Like nothing would happen. I mean, I wasn't able to connect with myself. Second time was more powerful. Um, when I was able to connect with my heart and feel like the heaviness and the pain, and to realize that during this process, as I was going through the breath work, there was anger. I didn't know why I was angry, but and it's okay if you don't know why you're angry. But and through that anger, I was able to like kind of like scream and release all this anger that I had within me growing up. And once I released this anger, there was another layer of I was deeply saddened. I was so sad. So dropped in and was just crying. I was releasing all these other energy, emotions and energy that was stuck since childhood, and then to realize that down in this deep sadness was.
Hello, Rose. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome back to the show. Appreciate last time. Thank you very much for that. I want to ask you, I hear a lot about, somatic breathing. I heard about it for the past few years, and I know you practice it, you teach it, and many people also talk about the importance of somatic breathing in order to heal ourselves, healing trauma. So if you could explain to me a little bit more about what is somatic breathing, what are the benefits of it, and later on maybe also could show us a short guided meditation breath work. I would love that.
Okay. So, somatic release breath work is designed to clear out the pressure and the trauma stored in our body. Stress and trauma is a response of our nervous system to the event that happened to us. When we get into like a traumatized state in the response um, to what happened to us, we go in a contractive and defensive state. So a lot of the times our energy becomes trapped in our
Mm.
body. So soma means body, and by doing somatic breath work, it helps release this energy through expression. And expression is the release of the stored energy because our body keeps score. When we don't express ourselves, we end up suppressing. We end up repress and then depress, and it turns to dis-ease. So
It turns to this is because you're saying that we had emotions coming up, and instead of
mhm.
letting them coming up or feeling them, we're pushing them down. Does that cause the stress actually?
Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. So, just to me, um, think of like a pressure cooker, right? So doing the breath work, it will help you become aware of the repressed stored tension in your body. You can call it internal pressure, trauma, negative belief. Is that energy that this breath work is going to help you discover what you're holding on to, what is preventing you becoming from being your best self. So just beyond um, just beyond making yourself aware of what the things you're carrying is also an opportunity to like let go.
Mm.
So the breath work, it can be physical, emotional, spiritual, or a mental process. There's no like wrong or right way. So when people get into this breath work, some people start crying, they yell loudly, they shake, the body shakes. All this, some people laugh. All this is just letting go of the physical experiencing of this energy because we suppressed it. So sometimes our body wants to move, wants to shake, wants to laugh, wants to cry or yell or whatever emotions, and your body wants to express it out. It could
Wow.
be uncomfortable, but in that discomfort, that's when you had the opportunity to clear out what you've been suppressed. Because once you clear, you become clear. You have more clarity. You have more room to repattern what you want to bring in. Is it more love? Is it um, um, peace, freedom?
Wow.
So it's whatever your intention coming into this breath work is what you're calling in. And also you're able to
I want to
release.
stop you there because you said
Yeah.
whatever my intention is, but if I come into the breath work and all these things come up, I don't necessarily know what it is, that trauma or that, that pain, that disbelief that is holding me back. So when I go into the breath work, which you'll explain soon, but is there like any like, something I need to do prior to that? Or the breath work itself brings up things that cause me to shake the body or to cry or whatever it is. Each person is different. Is
Yeah.
that something
Uh,
that a breath work does, or I need to do some homework before that?
nope. You come in with a clear state, no expectation. You're just open.
Hmm.
So coming in open because I don't want you to be like, oh, I need to heal this, this, and this. No, like let's just go and connect with the body's wisdom because our body knows how to heal itself. But do we give it space to and room to um, let it do its healing magic?
Got it. Okay. And it makes more sense because I went once to something, similar, uh, and there was some breath work over there, and some people actually shouting, some people were quiet, some
Yeah.
people were crying, and I was wondering, like, each person has, and I wasn't crying, so I was kind of like hard on myself. I'm like, wait, was I supposed to do something prior to this to make myself ready for this? And that's why I'm not crying. So now, from what you're saying, it sounds just come open, and each person has their own experience. And if one person is having that one, it doesn't mean that I need to have the same. I think in general, comparisons, is the worst thing that we can do. But now you're saying that, so I understand that more. So, okay, let's say we start that breath work and things started coming up. That, whatever those emotions that came up, they help us to release that, the suppressing that we did through the years or through the months or, this whole time. They help us to release all the emotions that were stuck until now.
Yeah. Well, everybody is different. It depends on how, um, it depends on, first of all, safety. That's why we always have to have a safe environment for the people that's coming in for the breath work. Because when you don't feel safe, it's harder for you to let go and trust the process. Because people come in, some people are still in their mind. And when you're in your mind, it's harder to connect with the body's wisdom.
Mm.
So that's why we're using our breath to connect to the body, to connect to where is it in your body that you feel intense pressure or stress or anxiety. Where is it in your body? Some people feel in the belly or the shoulders or the heart or their throat, and it's coming to that space.
Okay, so let's say now I feel it, for example, in my shoulders. My shoulders are tight. So what do I need to do like when I start now the breathing? Like how do I through the breathing release that, that feeling of stuckness or the feeling of unworthiness, trauma, whatever it is? Like what do I actually need to do in the breath work? I know it could be hours now of breath work, but like I'm trying to understand like how does it actually work?
How does it actually work? I don't know. What it is, you are connecting with yourself. I'm just a guide. I'm guiding you to your breath work because the where you can get most wisdom is the wisdom within yourself. You have all the wisdom, and I'm helping
Mm.
you open this space where you connect in. You get your wisdom because if somebody gives you tells you like, oh, do this, this, and this, your body is not going to connect with it. Like you understand it, but this is a whole body experience because you have to experience it yourself. You have to do your own work within yourself. And
Mm.
doing that own work with yourself, sometimes it feels uncomfortable. You're holding all this stress and pain in your shoulders. Now let's go deeper and like, what are you feeling? How does it feel in your shoulders? What's coming up for you? And usually through this breath work, and depends on how um everybody's on a different uh level of the inner work. I don't know if I say level, but it depends on how long you've been doing the inner work. Some people can tap within right away. Some people have a harder time connecting with themselves. So it depends on the individual. Um,
Yeah,
but
but
when you,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm trying to understand because let's say I feel tension in my shoulders.
yeah,
And you said that's a feeling. Now, is that only a feeling that comes up? Or eventually I also need like to hear words in my mind telling me, yeah, here something is not right now. And like, do I also hear words or it's only feelings? Like how, or does it bring a past experience up? Like, does it bring an image up to my mind? Like, what happens over there that helps to release that thing that is holding me back, trauma, whatever it is?
yeah. So everybody has different experience. I can talk for myself because for me,
Yeah.
I felt it in my heart. And what I felt in my heart was really heavy. So
Mm.
for me, going into I remember the first time, actually the second time I did breath work, because the first time I did breath work, I was still in my mind. Like nothing would happen. I mean, I wasn't able to connect with myself. Second time was more powerful. Um, when I was able to connect with my heart and feel like the heaviness and the pain, and to realize that during this process, as I was going through the breath work, there was anger. I didn't know why I was angry, but and it's okay if you don't know why you're angry. But and through that anger, I was able to like kind of like scream and release all this anger that I had within me growing up. And
Mm.
once I released this anger, there was another layer of I was deeply saddened. I was so sad. So dropped in and was just crying. I was releasing all these other energy, emotions and energy that was stuck since childhood, and then to realize that down in this deep sadness was grief that I wasn't able to grieve my father's death. And then when I got that realization, it's like, oh, this anger was really deep seated from not being able to express and my father's death. So for me, that was my own inner experience, but other people have, you know, uh, uh, our own wisdom and our own body knows where to go and what to do next if we give it the space and time and get out of that thinking mind and into the body.
And that's $1 million question. You
Yeah.
you said like you said it the first time. I was listening and at first I'm amazed that you're able actually, to go deep inside and release those feelings and bring yourself to a total new place in life because now you continue life with not having that hold you back, actually releasing and continuing and growing. But that's step number two. And step number one, you said that the mind was holding you back and you weren't really able to do it because when you try to do the breathing, you do it like really with your mind. So I'm wondering because I'm also working with my mind. How do how to actually do it? Like I want to go to step two that you're able to. I understand each person has a different experience, but how do I do that breathing when I'm out of my mind and I'm really released? Like what did you do in order to go to that step two and get out of your mind?
I guess because I done it the first time, so I kind of understand like, okay, I am in a safe environment. There's nothing that's gonna, nothing bad is happening. So the second time I was able to kind of let go, like just surrender. Like,
Mm.
okay, I'm here. Let's do this. And
Yeah.
yeah. And it's just when you start breathing through your mouth, because the first half is going to be intense, things will come up for you. And I'm just guiding you through your breath. And everybody, yeah, like I said, everybody has their own experience. And and that for me right there is that inner work. You're doing the inner work that really, whew, the inner work is powerful.
Yeah, I have no doubt about
I
that.
don't go into yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have no doubt that the inner work is powerful. And you mentioned before that each person is in a different stage in that inner work. But from what I understand from you, that is basically that that feeling that we're in a safe environment, that we're in a place that safe environment, maybe it means, no judgment, forgiveness, like we
Yes.
mentioned last time. Of course, if we have more people, also people that we trust, but I understand that that safe environment is something really important to have in order to go out of our mind and actually, dive deep inside. Uh, but also when you're talking, you mentioned that, you breathe in through your mouth, and I know a lot about nose breathing. So I would appreciate if maybe you could give me an example of, or maybe guide me through. I don't know if there's a short type of somatic breath work, something that that I could practice, or something that people that are watching could practice, because I know around breathing and breath work, there's so many different types. So is there something short that you could explain to, to the people that are watching this, that we could practice this at home?
Yes, yes. So, what I like to do is, if I'm feeling like kind of like anxiety, stress, or like kind of anxious, I like to do 4-7-8 breathing, which is you inhale for 4, hold.
I'll be the
Okay.
student. So you tell me what to do, but tell me through an oath.
Yeah. So we're gonna inhale through our nose for 4 seconds. We're gonna hold our breath for 7, and then we're going to release through the mouth, like blowing through a straw for 8. So slow, deep inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slowly exhale for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll do it one more time. Inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, that's
So
it's relaxing. It's like,
yes, it's relaxing. And what else did you feel?
oh, sounds like just some type of like, I don't know if like reducing stress, but like something just, it's hard for me to put the words, but something like letting go from the outside noise, and like
Yes.
this feeling of getting more in the present. It was really short, but that was just like from the short.
Yeah.
For how much time does this need to happen?
I do it like 4 to 6 time of the 4-7-8. You
So
know.
4, 4, 7, 8 for
Mhm.
like times 5, 6.
Yeah, yeah. Depending on like if you're feeling it, um, a lot of anxiety. Start with like 4 and see how it feels. If sometimes you'll go a little longer depending on how fast you can bring your nervous system back down. So that breath work, you're taking your nervous system to um, you're calming your nervous system to a regulated nervous system by slowing your breath down.
Wow. And I could just do it like what you just now said, what I really like about it, especially these days, that we always have this excuse that we have no time. This doesn't take too much time.
Nope, it does not take too much time. You could do it for 1 minute.
Wow.
We all have 1 minute in our day to do this. Yeah, and it feels, like relaxing, like a breath of air, like, oh, I'm here. This is the moment I'm in. I'm not in the past or in the future thinking about the story. You're here, the present moment. So it's bringing you back here.
Wow. And does it matter if I do it with music, with that music?
No, it doesn't matter. You can do it with music depending on your preference. Um, there's a lot of like, guided breath work with music, like the Wim Hof.
Yeah.
Um, um, there's that style, or you want more gentle, there's all kinds of breathwork style.
I'm sure you could talk about that now, about this now for hours, but you made it pretty simple that if any person, also if they're in a stressful situation, so they could just practice this breath work. But I'm saying no need to wait for stress to come. This is something that we could practice in our day-to-day lives, which is amazing. And what I really connected to what you mentioned, you mentioned a lot of things over here which are great with amazing value. But many times we know I could tell about myself that when I used to go into these breath works, like I thought I need to know what's going to happen. I need to know what's going to come up. And you're saying, no, create that safe environment. That's yes, for sure, create that. But then you're saying, come with an open mind and just be curious. Let whatever comes up come up, and things will happen. And maybe what's beautiful about it that we'll discover a lot of things we didn't even know that bother us, or we ignored different type of things in our life. You know, what you mentioned earlier that we need to listen to our heart, and it sounds like right that through this breath work, our heart will say, like, listen to this or listen to that.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that by itself is amazing because so many times, we have that, our heart, our intuition, or this voice inside is telling us something, and our mind and all the noise around are, suppressing it, like you said, and then stress comes up, and then a lot of times we end up to see that we're wrong. I can tell you that, I went out with many girls, and every time I had this feeling inside that, it won't work out before I even met the girl, just, when a friend offered me to go out. And every time I told myself, hey, we'll give it a try. Every time I ignored that inner voice, I was
Hmm.
wrong. There wasn't even one time I was right. So I'm not saying anything bad about the person, amazing human beings. I'm just saying in terms of she wasn't for me. Nothing
Hmm.
bad about the person. So that only emphasizes even more that listening to that inner voice and letting the breathing bring up whatever it is that there's there, because like you also mentioned, like there's so much in the subconscious, most is there, and it sounds like through the breath work things will come up. So I really appreciate you bringing all these things up. Is there like another really important point that you want to bring up before we wrap this up?
Um, no, just you gotta feel it to heal it.
Well, you said that amazing. You gotta feel it to heal it. No, listening is nice. Listening to this show could be helpful, but if I think, if whoever's watching this right now, if you don't implement what Rose just now said, if you don't feel it, you won't heal. So many times, there's this will, this desire. Okay, now I'm going to go and breath work and do it 10 times a day. So stop. Like, listen to what Rose said. Start with once a day. If once a day is too much, start with 3 times a week. Something that you'll be able to be consistent, that just a little bit out of your comfort zone, and do that breath work. And Rose, I really appreciate, the great value, especially in these days that we have so much stress. The stress used to be from an animal running after us, but today it's we just look at our phone and like people are stressed, like why did they write this to me? So like
Yeah.
this is a tool and doesn't take too much time. It doesn't cost any money. It would cost you money for for your health if you don't take care of yourself. So I really appreciate you bringing it up. And again, thank you very much for your time and wisdom. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Yar.
I hope you enjoyed the video and you got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. For us to help other people, please press that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that the most amazing things in life are the one you take for granted.